welcome to our video about parabolic projectile motion. Before we start with our demonstrations, we want to explain the concept in a clear and simple way. Projectile motion is a type of movement that happens when an object is drawn or launched in the air and moves in a curved path called parabola. This curve forms because two different motions are happening at the same time. Horizontal motion, which stays constant as long as there's no air resistance, and vertical motion, which is affected by gravity and pulls the object towards the ground. So, every time we throw something, jump, kick a ball, or launch anything in the air, gravity and initial velocity work together to create a curved path we see.
To understanding even better, imagine splitting the motion into two separate directions, horizontally. The object keeps moving forward at the same speed because nothing is slowing down significantly. But vertically, gravity is always acting on it, pulling it downward and making the object lose height. When we combine these two motions, the object rises, slows down a bit at the top, and then falls again. That's why the shape is always a smooth arc, a parabola. Now that we have the basic idea, we're going to show you 4 real-life situations where parabolic projectile motion appears all the time, even if we don't normally notice it. For our first example, we are going to demonstrate something super common, throwing a ball. Think about it. Every time you throw a ball to someone, it never travels in a straight line. When the ball leaves the hand, it goes up for a moment, slows down, reaches its highest point, and then starts coming back down before being caught or hitting the ground. What's happening here is exactly projectile motion. The person throwing a ball gives it an initial velocity forward and upward. Gravity immediately starts pulling it downward, even if we don't see it right away. The result is a curved path that's perfectly consistent with a parabola. In a moment, we're going to show this by throwing a ball and recording the trajectory in slow motion so you can clearly see the curve.
For our second example, we are using a water fountain, or in our case, a stream of water from a hose. Even though the water is made of many tiny drops, they all follow the same physics. When the water is pushed out under the pressure, it rises and moves forward at the same time, creating a beautiful arc in the air. Just like with the ball, gravity immediately starts acting on the water. Even if the water is moving fast, gravity gradually makes the stream fall back down, completing, completing, completing.
For our third example, we are going to show that projectile motion also applies to people. When someone jumps off of a small step or platform, their center of mass, which is basically the average position of their weight, follows a curved path. At the beginning of the jump, there's a force pushing forward and upward. But as soon as the person is in the air, gravity becomes the dominant force, pulling them downward. This combination causes them to travel in a gentle curve until they reach the ground. Even though it might look like just a normal jump, the physics behind it's the same as the ball and the water fountain. Humans, objects, water, everything in motion under gravity follows the same rules. We are going to show this in slow motion so you can see how the path starts upward and then curves down.
For our last situation, we used a paper plane. Paper planes glide and stay in the air longer because of their shape, but they still follow a type of projectile motion. When you throw one, it moves forward thanks to the initial force of your hand, and gravity constantly pulls it downward. At first, it may fly straight, but as it travels, you'll notice it slowly starts to drop. Even though the wings add lift and make it stay in the air for a longer time, the trajectory eventually curves down, forming a smooth arc. Paper planes are a perfect example because they show how even when something has aerodynamics and lift, gravity still wins in the end. We're going to record the flight of the paper plane from the side so you can clearly see how its path curves as it moves.
To wrap everything up, projectile motion is all around us, even though we don't always think about it. Every time something is thrown, launched, or jumps into the air, it follows a curved path because of two combined motion, the forward horizontal motion and the vertical motion controlled by gravity. The four examples we showed, the throw ball, the water arc, the jump from a platform, and the paper airplane, all demonstrate how gravity and initial velocity work together to create the shape of a parabola. Understanding projectile motion helps us explain sports, fountains, engineering, animation, and even human movements. It's a simple concept, but it appears in so many different parts of everyday life. Thank you so much for watching our presentation. We hope our explanation and demonstration help make the idea of parabolic projectile motion clear, fun, and easy to understand. Bye bye!